Welcome, everybody, to episode 174 of the Geek Dad Report. The one show dedicated, formulated, specially created, and bringing you guys all the nerd news you need to know, all while putting a little smile. What are you doing?
I got the Game of Thrones Oreos, and so this is House Stark. The House Stark just attacked the White Walkers. Oh, I should have done it like this. The White Walkers, and now the White Walkers are dead, and House Stark is victorious.
You cannot see anything about those Oreo cookies other than they're just Oreo.
Exactly how the Game of Thrones Season 6 premiere is going to happen.
Are you sure those are actually Game of Thrones cookies, or are you just trying to find an excuse to be a glutton and stuff your face full of sweet Oreos on the Showtime?
Can I go with both? Because I love myself some Oreos. I've already eaten at least a whole sleeve, so I should probably stop. But I don't know. I can't really eat House Stark because they're my favorites. But
well, why not? Everybody else on the show ate them. Ugh.
I'm gonna rip them apart.
They just ate that house alive.
Oh no, we got like halfies. Oh.
You suck at ripping Oreos apart. You know what I like to do? I like to get the double stuff, and then I like to make them a quadruple stuff. I stuff them together.
They're kind of gooey. Oh, I'm starting to feel like a fat Samuel right now. So.
Well, you just ate an entire sleeve of Oreos.
Yeah, so I'm also keeping the show very professional.
Yeah, because everybody loves listening to someone eat on a microphone.
We did spend half an hour going over like what metrics are working.
Yeah, you know what metrics not working?
Trying to get new viewers, and then I just decided that it was a better idea just to eat a crap load of Oreos.
Whatever. You know, maybe we should just put this on like one of those weird fetish channels where people just listen to people eat. Like, I don't know.
Is that a channel? I want to actually.
I'm pretty sure there is. Like, there's all these weird, like they have slime videos. You know, you can make millions of dollars if you just make slime. So weird.
I mean, my daughter watches like, it's called like Cookie Swirl or something, where she just like opens up like doll things, like those little doll things that got like, I don't know, stupid. My kid watches it.
My kid watches nothing. We banned YouTube in this household.
Yeah, we banned YouTube. So
they can't even watch this show, which is probably better for the best, because all we do is talk about how bad our kids are. So, anyway, what was I talking about before I was so rudely interrupted with your just fat shoveling cream cookies in your mouth?
Mm-hmm. Just making sure I don't have like a big black Oreo.
I mean, listen, for the record, I'm just jealous because I try not to eat any sugar during the week. But Oreos are my fucking favorite cookie, like, ever. Love Oreos.
So Oreos and then Cheez-Its, I could just eat. Like, those are like the two things where I can just sit there. If you put a box next to me, I will just destroy it.
We're not going to talk about Cheez-Its, but Oreo cookies, what I like to do, and I'm just a savage. I like to take Oreos, I like to get the double stuff, and then open them up, each one, and then make a quadruple stuff, and then I cram it in my mouth, and then I get, like, because we get, like, milk delivered to my house, so I get the little half gallon, the little half quarts, the little cardboard, so I don't pour it in a glass. I sit it there open, because I don't know how many cookies I'm going to have. And if I pour into a glass, then that limits the amount of cookies I can eat. So I take them in my mouth, and then I take a little drink out of it, and then I wait for the milk to invade the cookie in my mouth, and then I gobble it down real quick.
That's some pretty sophisticated Oreo eating, Brian.
I take my Oreo addiction very seriously, but anyway, whatever. I don't even know what we're talking about. Back to the introduction, which I haven't even finished.
Back to the introduction.
Let's see. Geek Dad Report, what shows? Blah blah blah. All the nerd news you need to know. I'll put a little smile on your face. I'm Brian, the hostess with the mostest,
and I'm Ryan. I feel really fat after eating all those Oreos.
And that's Ryan, the host, the host with the junk in his trunk from the 37,000 calories you just consumed.
Yeah. It's worth it, though.
It is worth it. Just like watching this show is worth it. We have a lot of stuff planned for you guys tonight. We got some great news stories and ninja news. I saw Shazam. Spoiler alert. We're going to talk about that a little bit later tonight. We got some killer recommendations. Well, Mine is definitely a killer recommendations. Like, I'm going to recommend something where somebody will actually kill somebody.
Ugh.
On a show.
I have a more...
and by actually kill somebody, I mean not actually kill somebody, but just, like, fake kill somebody on a cool show.
My recommendation this week is a little more family-friendly.
And we also got a whole bunch of questions from you guys, the Faithful 50, so we have a lot to offer tonight.
Yes, we do.
Maybe. I don't know. You know what, in truth, we have nothing to offer that you can't find anywhere else.
We have some stuff to offer, but it's just we're not sure who we're offering it to and if they're willing to accept.
Yeah, and
that's how the internet works these days.
I'm kind of off my game tonight, so expect an Atari level show from this guy.
Yeah.
Ryan, you're gonna have to carry the show tonight. I'm not gonna lie.
Are you just like totally down?
I'm not down. My brain synapses won't fire. I drank a lot of coffee earlier, so my mind was like really racing, and now it's hitting that like lull where it's crashing hard.
It's like you either need to like double down.
I need, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? We talked about one of the questions of like what we do in a bachelor party, and like we wanted like a Scarface mountain of cocaine. I feel like that's what I need right now.
Yeah. Oh, you need to you need some speed.
Well, I don't know. I don't do drugs, Ryan. You fucking heathen.
I have not done drugs ever.
Never? I mean, allegedly, never.
I have allegedly.
Have you drank alcohol? Have you tasted the sweet nectar?
And as the person
Satan's teat.
As for my job requirements, I have actually never done drugs in my entire life.
I say that's bullshit, Ryan. Life
in
is
high school.
Life is a drug.
In college, and that one time I accidentally took some pills and then drank some beers and all those other times. But no, I have never.
What about that time we dropped like 30 mushrooms and drove around in the back of a pickup truck?
I was not allowed to talk about that.
We didn't actually drop 30 mushrooms. I've never done hallucinogens. I don't understand how people can do hallucinogens. I've watched people high on like LSD and stuff, and they're just freaking the fuck out. Like, that does not seem like a fun thing to do.
I've never done anything more than marijuana and...
Oh, I got a little bit of that devil's lettuce.
Ooh, yeah, I don't live in a state where it's legal, so...
It's legal here. Nobody hides around a corner and does it anymore. Just do it out in the open.
That's the most I've ever done, man. We had connections in college and shit. That was about it.
Why are we talking about drugs? I'd
rather just get drunk.
I feel like no shit. I like caffeine and I like alcohol. Those are my drugs of choice. Oh well, whatever. What were we talking about? How do we get on? Oh yeah, we were talking about like I need cocaine. Never done cocaine. It's way too expensive for me to try it. So fuck it, and it's illegal. You know what? If there's any kids watching, just don't do drugs at all. Like that's the way to do it. This is actually like a secret dare ad. Like if you do drugs, you just end up like us, old, sad.
You gotta give them the cold shoulder. I remember that from Dare. And
cold shoulder. The only thing I remember from Dare is like this is your brain. Is your brain on drugs, and it has like the fried eggs.
That was the TV commercial. That wasn't Dare. Dare was like when they had the police officer came to your school and like tried to like scare you about stuff, but then all it really did was get our whole 5th grade. Like everybody wanted to try marijuana because they wanted to be like, man, that sounds really cool. I want to like find out what that's like. Yeah. And that's all it did. It would just get all Dare did was get people to want to try drugs.
I always had one rule when it came to drugs. I always wanted to watch somebody else on the drug before I ever thought about doing it. And
yeah, that's a good idea.
And let me tell you, I have not done a lot of drugs because I've seen people high on drugs, and I'm like, nope, not for me.
Yeah. I remember we went to Canada on a fishing trip, and all the dads were like out on like drinking or something like that, and all the kids like we were like just walking around. We're like, all right, we're in Canada, find some weed, and so we just stopped these random kids that were walking out of a bowling alley, and we're like, hey,
give some pot.
And they're like, yeah, you guys got some pot, and they're like, no, but we know where you can get it, and we're like, okay, and he's like, but we could give you some black tar if you want.
How do you go from pot to heroin?
Like, what? And then like they show us the Bible, and we're like, no,
Jesus Christ. Yeah, heroin. There's a drug I never even wanted to watch somebody do. God. Hey, I live out in Seattle. And you can just walk out. You can just walk out in the streets and see people doing heroin. It's great.
If it involves a needle, I will black out. I will pass out before you even put that needle in me.
Dude, those guys shoot it between their toes.
Ugh.
Well, all right. Anyway, moving on. On that note, we got a lot of news. Woo!
Don't do drugs, people.
Yeah, don't fucking. You know what? I don't know how we got on this. I mean, I know how we got here, but I'm not really sure how we got here. But I think what we're both just saying is, yeah, don't fucking do drugs. Drugs are bad.
Yeah.
Drugs are bad, okay? Unless it's legal, then except for like pills, if a doctor prescribes you to, still don't do it. Fuck those guys.
Yeah. But we do have a great show tonight.
I say life is a drug. Do that one.
Yeah, do life.
Do life. And probably a lot of alcohol. Anyway, all right. Moving on. Do you have any dad stories?
Dude, all I did was sweet.
Don't do drugs.
I have a literal kids sport every night of the week except for Friday.
Well, that's your fault because you're dumb. What are you doing with your life?
Soccer and softball every goddamn day of the week except for Friday. It is exhausting. And then the Manor season started, so we've been watching like literally every single game on the MLB app, thanks to T-Mobile. And but yeah, that's literally all I've done this week. It's just, and then just passing out by like 10 o'clock at night because I got nothing by the time I'm done. Oh, and I understand. Just don't let your kids do sports until middle school, because kids sports when they're young, it's a pain in the ass.
You complained for like 20 minutes last week about kids sports. We're not talking about it. Like I said, this is your fault. You did this. This is you.
It's my fault. I'm sorry. I'm raising athletic Division I scholarship athletes.
You focus on brains, not brawn, all right?
Right.
I mean, some people are gifted like me who have brains and brawn, but I mean, for most people, just focus on brains.
I was able to do college sports, so, you know.
I could have, but I was too good for it, so they wouldn't let me go in, and I was too young to join the NFL, so I just, like, had to sit and wait for 4 years, and then I just drank too much and ate too much pizza, and I got fat. And then by the time I got back into shape, I was 38, and I just couldn't play in the league anymore. It's terrible.
And by then, you're like, well, I kind of got this girlfriend. And
yeah, I know. Yeah, right.
She kind of stuck with me.
Well, listen, I mean, and then I start doing this internet show, and it's either Geek Dad Report or Millions in the NFL. I feel like I chose wisely. I just decided to do this. This is a lot less work. I get to hang out with you and watch you stuff your face with Oreos. It's great. Fucking amazing. What are we doing? Do we have a show? Should we even do a show? Should we just call it and just go home? I'm ready to go home.
No, I'm already home for one.
Well,
so.
I am too, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've done enough bullshitting, Brian. Should we just jump to the Ninja News, or did you have anything that you did this week?
I mean, you know, this is the norm. I took my kids to go see Shazam, but we're going to talk about that later. My youngest is getting into Super Nintendo. It's kind of fun watching her. I got, the Super Nintendo Classic.
You and the Super Nintendo. Yeah, we just replugged ours in this week. Well, we've been playing Street Fighter Turbo.
Well, I realized they were collecting dust. I got the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo, so I was like, well, I'm just plug them into the various TVs around the house and let the kids play it as they want. But my oldest, she likes it, but my youngest, she's sick. She's all about Super Mario Brothers, except for she's not quite good enough to actually beat the game, because you forget how hard those games actually are compared to games now. Yeah. Games now are designed to be beaten. Games back then were designed to just kill you all the time and keep you playing it, right?
Yeah.
And so we're having to work through some of her video game etiquette, because after a while she likes to chuck a controller at her sister. She likes to scream for 20 minutes at the TV. It's like, and it's funny with these names that she doesn't know, like the Mario names. So she's like, oh, these stupid fishy jumping frogs and them stupid baseball toads. And I'm like, All right.
Or just like the random turtle that you just like didn't catch in time.
Well, she comes in. She comes in trying to explain what's killing her, and she has no idea what these things are called. So I'm trying to decipher this. It's like, yeah, there's a big flying brown turd thing with wings, and it has a cape, and it flashes. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sounds like a Goomba from
Yeah, exactly. You went over like, oh, it's a Goomba. It's a flying Goomba. Yeah, it's a Goopa. I'm like, no, it's a Goomba. All right, whatever, Dad. Can you beat it? No, you got to beat it. What? I'm like, the challenge is you got to learn how to play it yourself. Throws a controller down.
We've been playing. My son and I have been playing Street Fighter Turbo.
Mm-hmm.
And he's officially not allowed to be E Honda anymore because
he just sits there and does the
he just
the 1,000 slaps,
and then he just like steamrolls just across the like, so here's me, and then he just like just going across.
All you gotta do is counter that with Blanca and just do electrocution, and when he tries to slap you, it'll electrocute him.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Come on, man, get with it. Get with the program.
When he started being a dick like that, I do Chun-Li, and then I'll just jump like over him and just like kick the shit out of him.
Dude, those games are the best. All right, we should probably get into the news though, or else we're just gonna ramble for hours. All right, Ryan.
Hey, Super Nintendo introducing your kids back into the Super Nintendo is super fun.
Side note: are you gonna get the Sega Classic console? I'm trying to decide if I want to get that. It's got Sonic.
I just have the Super Nintendo one.
I got the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo, and they got the Sega Classic coming out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I might just pick that up. That has Sonic. That's a pretty cool game.
I never had the Sega though. We had the Nintendo, and our next door neighbor had the Sega. So then we would just go to each other's houses.
I had the Sega because it was cheaper. So I also got a Nintendo, but I got the Nintendo when the Super Nintendo came out, and I got the Super Nintendo when the 64
We played all the sports games on the Sega, and then we played like all the Mario and all the other stuff on our Nintendo. So,
hey man, that's the way to do it. That's how we did it back in the day because we had to value because people didn't have $300 to spend on video game consoles.
Yeah.
All right. That's enough down nostalgia lane.
Let's spread our wings, Brian.
I think it's time.
Get into the dojo.
To the dojo, where we practice such moves as the hoo-ah! What is this? The fist chop of nerd news. Yeah! The uppercuts of geek knowledge.
Yes.
You got something? What are you doing? What are you doing?
You're supposed to be doing... I think you skipped one.
I didn't skip anything. You're just not paying attention. You're probably fucking thinking about those sweet Oreos again, you son of a bitch. You know what?
Then you finish it off, Brian, with the Cobra Kai leg sweep of Oreos.
Yeah, you're finishing off with a fucking mouth shovel of happiness. The fuck?
I was too busy doing this motion when you were trying to do the uppercut.
What is that? The fisting of fury? I mean, what are you doing over there?
I don't know.
Whatever.
It's just one of those kind of nights. I think that's what people are going to be getting tonight.
The current told you mountain of cocaine. I need it right now.
Hello to my little fan.
Don't do drugs. All right, here we go. First up, the only drug I need in my life, Ryan, is Star Wars, and we have Star Wars news. So I'm gonna talk about it.
We always start with Star Wars.
I lost our news. I got news for you. Facebook blows. I fucking hate Facebook.
I think I'm starting to have a heart attack or something.
Yeah, you just had 37,000 calories and are all sugar. I mean, forget a mountain of cocaine. You just did
like right here. It's not like right on my heart, but like it feels like it's close to it.
Do you have a Polish sausage lung lodged underneath your fucking artery? Alright, whatever. You know what? We got Star Wars news. We're going to have a lot more Star Wars news next week. In fact, the whole show is probably going to be Star Wars related. I'm just throwing that out there right now. Star Wars Celebration kicks off tomorrow. So hopefully... Oh, no, Friday. Sorry, kicks off Friday. So hopefully we're going to get a Star Wars episode trailer.
We're recording on when we used to record on Thursdays, but...
Well, whatever. We're not... Why are we talking about things we used to do? I used to go out on Friday nights, and then I had kids. Let's. Let's talk about that. It's a terrible idea. Nobody tells you that.
Just continue talking, Brian.
All right, whatever. We're not. Why are we talking about things we used to do? I used to go out on Friday nights, and then I had kids. Let's talk about that. It's a terrible idea. Nobody tells you that. Whatever. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, there it is. Speaking of Star Wars news, we're going to have a ton next week, but we do have a little bit this week that we're going to talk about. And, well, fuck it, we're talking about it right now. So all the people who hated Rian Johnson and The Last Jedi and really hoped that Star Wars was going to fire his ass and not bring him back because he,
Because 10,000 people signed a letter.
Because he ruined the franchise with his $2.3 billion Last Jedi movie. Well, guess what?
$2.3 billion done.
Yeah, well, guess what? Star Wars and Lucasfilms and Kathleen Kennedy listened to all your complaints and basically said, fuck off. Because Rian Johnson has confirmed that as soon as his movie Knives Out is done with its promotions and hits the theaters and all the shit that he's got to do with that movie, he is returning to a galaxy far, far away to start work on his Star Wars trilogy. So, we have, hopefully we're going to get a lot more detailed information about the timeline of future Star Wars movies at Celebration. But right now it sounds like the Game of Thrones guys are going to start production on their movie probably for a next year release. And it sounds like Rian Johnson's going to start working on his for probably the year after. So it sounds like Disney's going to stick with the one Star Wars movie every year, probably around Christmas, which would be perfect. I think it works for me.
It works for me, but I would at least watch 2 or 3.
I would too, but I do think that, I don't think the failure of Solo was because it was a bad movie. I do think a little bit it came too soon after a very controversial Star Wars movie in some people's eyes, and they did a terrible job marketing it. So I think until people get used to, people just aren't used to the Marvel style for Star Wars, right? Where you have a couple movies a year. I think you got to get us used to a Star Wars movie every year, and then you can kind of start sneaking in more as you go, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true, because Marvel didn't really start doing that, like multiple movies, until like 10 years into the whole thing. So.
Yeah, because we got Iron Man, and then like a year later we got Incredible Hulk.
And 2, and then Captain America.
Yeah, I mean, in the first 4 years we got 5 Marvel movies, right? So, and and one of those was Incredible Hulk, which was released by Universal, I think Paramount, or Universal. So, it's Star Wars I love Star Wars. Release one a year, give us one every Christmas, something to get excited about, and then start giving us more. Plus, you know what? Here's the thing: we may only get the one a year because we're still going to get a lot of TV shows. The Mandalorian's coming out.
That's true. I forgot about that. The Disney Plus app.
The Disney Plus streaming, I was going to talk about it later, but since we're on that subject now, apparently has a release date of November. It sounds like Wall Street Journal has an inside source that says that's when Disney's looking to launch it. When they do launch it, we are going to get we're going to be getting a Mandalorian Star Wars TV show that's going to launch with it. So we're going to get a lot of Disney or Marvel shows as well, but the first thing we are going to get is Mandalorian. But rumors abound that we're going to get an Obi-Wan Kenobi series. We're going to get a Rogue One tie-in series. We're going to get, a lot of stuff. There's rumors of a Darth Maul series that they may continue the Solo storyline in a series. So I think we're going to have these one big movies a year with a couple, TV shows kind of throughout that filter into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be interesting to see how that model works, and I highly doubt that they'll do it for like the Marvel movies. No. But I mean, I think that's like how they're going to spin off like Hawkeye. Like, 'cause they don't really want to make a Hawkeye movie, but people want to see a continuation of that character.
Well, yeah, I mean, to your point, Disney did in fact just announce today that they are going to be doing a Hawkeye show with his apprentice / new Hawkeye in the comic book, Kate Bishop. So it's going to be very much a mentor, what do you call it? Mentor and a
mentee.
Isn't that like a candy? What is that?
A Mentos.
It's a mentor and a learner. It's like a Mr. Miyagi situation with Hawkeye and Kate Bishop. So, I mean, I think it's a cool way to continue on some of these characters that maybe don't need their own movies.
And you don't have to do a movie for everybody. You can just give them a 6-episode, run.
And I think if you tell a guy like Jeremy Renner, who hasn't had a lot of action in these Avengers movies, honestly, to be like, hey, listen, we're going to give you your own 8-episode limited series. It's going to be movie quality.
Right.
everyone seems to be on board for these.
And here's a dump truck full of money.
I do think Marvel's plan moving forward is to, I think they liked what they saw with Netflix with Daredevil and stuff. I just don't think that they wanted to be associated with that. So I think they like the idea of continuing a lot of these stories on a small screen and interweaving them with their big, motion pictures. So, hey, whatever. I say do it. Give us all the Star Wars, all the Marvel. I'll watch it all. I already know I'm going to be paying for this Disney Plus service, so.
And just give it all to it.
Give me it all. Except for don't give me like 3-hour lines when you go to the Star Wars park. I don't want that.
Well, I think you're going to get that no matter what.
Well, yeah, apparently Disney believes you're going to get that because they're already letting people know that they're going to be handing out bathroom passes for the lines at the new Star Wars Land, the Galaxy's Edge rides at Disneyland.
Bathroom passes?
I have heard that some places already do this, but I've never had a bathroom pass.
I never thought about what the bathroom situation would be like at...
I've never waited in line long enough to need a bathroom pass.
I think, being a guy, our bathroom stuff is just, 50 guys on one long pig trough.
I think that the trick is obviously to know where the bushes are in the lines, so you can just like slowly, and then just keep going.
Yeah, that's just how I did it when I went to Disneyland. So
Disney, the crowds in this are going to be insane. I'm going to Disneyland next May, so not like in a month, but like a year in 13 months, so I'm kind of hoping the crowds will die down just a little bit.
You go there 1 month after it opens or 6 years after it opens. That park is going to be at peak capacity.
Yeah, that's true, man. Every time I've gone, it's been at peak capacity. There's like no downtime anymore for Disneyland. I don't know, whatever. The good news is apparently because they anticipate long lines for all these Star Wars attractions, they're making the line. I know we talked about this in a previous episode where they're, when I went to Universal Studios and went to Harry Potter's land, they made the line, they made the attraction, waiting in line part of the attraction, and so it definitely sounds like they're going to do this. They're apparently going to have some of the Star Wars actors, not from the movies, but the actors in the park. They're going to be talking to people in the crowds. They're going to be, they're going to have trivia games. I'm like. I was reading some of these things that Disneyland's planning on doing for people waiting in line, and I'm like, how long do they think these lines are going to be?
It's going to be long, Brian.
I'm guessing the fast passes aren't going to be working for it, so that kind of sucks. So I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, it opens later this year. We'll as we get more feedback and people actually start going through these lines, we'll talk more about it. But I just thought it was kind of interesting that they're going to be handing out bathroom passes.
It's going to be very interesting to see how it comes out.
Yeah, well, and then the last little bit of Star Wars news we had for you guys is, there's a couple Star Wars things. One, there was a story that came out. We're not going to talk too much about it, but there's a story that came out that J.J. Abrams originally told Kathleen Kennedy he was not going to direct Episode 9, that she was like, you have to do this. I just thought it was interesting. And, J.J. Abrams said it's because he's a fan first and he loves Star Wars and, he didn't want to mess it up and he was looking forward to seeing what somebody else had to do. But, let's be honest. It has to be because of the absolute nerd rage that people had over Episode 8, right? That's got to be why he didn't want to do this again.
That was 100% why. It was, and Kathleen Kennedy is a great leader, I think.
And she talked him into doing it.
Knowing like when to stick to her guns.
Well, and I guess I want to bring this up just because I feel like most of the people who watch this show. We've talked to a lot of you guys and gals, and even the people who don't like The Last Jedi are pretty. I feel like we have a pretty good audience who's not going to like threaten to murder Rian Johnson on Twitter and make his life miserable, right? But the downside of
everyone that we've talked to that didn't like the new movies, they just said, yeah, it just wasn't for me. Well, and that's it. And they're not like, it ruined my childhood and I want to burn everything to the ground.
Yeah, And here's the danger, and I think we all have to. I think everyone plays a part of this, whether we are yelling directly at people on social media or yelling at them in restaurants, or whether we're just stoking the fires amongst ourselves about something we'd hate. When it gets so loud, like it did with The Last Jedi, like or dislike the movie, good talent is gonna turn away these kind of things, because who wants that in their life, right? I mean, I love Rian Johnson, and I love the fact that he's been able to just kind of deal with this, but, and he wants to come back to Star Wars because he loves it. But, I mean, a lot of big-name people, talented people are going to say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, why do I want to take this risk and make a movie that armies of nerds are going to lose their minds over and just make my life a living hell? What is the upside to this? And I just think... we got to get back to a point where if a movie's just not that good, or if you don't like it, you can just move on and deal with it, right? I mean, or else we're just...
Everything else in life that you don't like, you don't just sit around and complain at everybody.
Well, yeah, and when you start getting directors you've never heard of, and they start making mediocre Star Wars movies every year, then people are going to complain about, like, oh, all we're doing is getting these no-name directors making these by-the-book Star Wars movies. Well, that's what happens when you yell at people who take chances. Good directors come in and say, you know what? I have a vision and I want to put it out there. If you don't like it, just whatever. It's fine.
You don't like it, go watch all the other George Lucas movies.
Yeah, the prequels, people hated the prequels so much, George Lucas didn't want to go back into the universe he created. He just got rid of it. I mean, it's like, good Lord. And don't get me wrong, the prequels aren't good, but, I mean, they're not... I mean, I've seen worse movies. They're still Star Wars.
Yeah, there's... See, I just don't understand what people want. I mean, you're getting more Star Wars.
Yeah, dude, and everything... Like, Rogue One's not my favorite, but we still get to see one of the best 2-minute scenes of all time with Darth Vader murdering people, right? And so I didn't sit here and pick apart the movie because the rest of it doesn't make a lot of sense and it's kind of dumb. Because at the very end, you get this amazing sequence, and I'm glad that we have it, right?
Yeah.
And The Force Awakens is great. I mean, it's just... And The Last Jedi is amazing. I've thought more about The Last Jedi than I probably thought about any other Star Wars movie ever.
Yeah, my kids love The Last Jedi, so...
Yeah, so do mine. I love them. Look at this, I got porgs.
Yeah.
Porgs. Love porgs. All right, anyway, that was my little thought on the J.J. Abrams story. But the last bit of Star Wars news that I did have is we got our first teaser poster and kind of tease from Respawn Studios, who are coming out with Star Wars The Fallen Order. But it's the new Star Wars game coming out that's supposedly set after Episode 3. So I'm pretty excited about that. We should be getting a teaser, like an actual game footage trailer or a trailer, some more about the game. I want to say that drops this September, so we should start hearing a lot more about it. Probably, like I say, get a lot about it in Celebration, but I'm just excited for a good Star Wars game. It's been so long. I mean, Battlefront 2 was fun, but it's been so long since you've had a story-driven Star Wars game that's any good. This one sounds like it could be really good.
Yeah, my son we have Battlefront 2, and for the Xbox, but he's also played like Jedi Knight Academy.
Oh, dude, those games are so good.
And he played that on our PC, so he played. I think he played like all those the Jedi Knight ones.
Yeah, dude, those games were super fun. Like I said, dude, honestly, the early aughts were all Star Wars games. There was so many good Star Wars games. Knights of the Republic, Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast. There was so many good games, and it's just So
I'm hoping the Fallen Order is going to be kind of like the the Jedi Academy ones. So.
I am too. It does sound. I believe it's being done by some of the people who did. What is it? The Uncharted games. So I don't know. Hopefully, I'm not real familiar with Respawn. I'm sure they've done something great, but whatever. I don't care. The poster we saw, the little teaser we saw, was basically like a half broken lightsaber. It looked cool. I'm just really excited.
I'm so out of touch on video games these days.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I play
13-year-old me very upset.
I've been playing South Park: The Fractured Butthole. That game's pretty fun. But I'm really excited for this Jedi Fallen Order. I mean, EA has not been impressing me, but hopefully this will be good. And that is all the time we're going to talk about a teaser poster, since whatever. All right, moving on. Let's see. We got a few quick stories. I'll knock them out. If you want to talk about it, let me know. We did get a new trailer for The Lion King. I was actually really excited for it. We got to see Scar and a lot more of the secondary characters. This is a movie we don't necessarily need, but I'm kind of excited for it because I love The Lion King.
Yeah, I'll watch it once.
Well, yeah, no shit.
And so I haven't watched the new trailer just because I already know every song in the movie by heart.
Yeah, it was. I watched the new trailer just because it was cool to, like I said, we haven't seen a lot of the characters in the trailers. This one actually showed Timon and Pumbaa and Scar and the hyenas, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
so
I heard it's going to be a great one-watch movie.
If you are a big fan of the Shake Shack, I've never been there, but I've heard it's really good. We have one here in Washington, so I'm going to have to go check it out. They have a secret menu item that is Game of Thrones related. As Ryan was showing you with the Oreos, Game of Thrones is in full, I don't know what you call it, sponsorship mode right now?
Yeah, they're in full merchandise
mode. Thank you. They're doing Oreos. I think you can get a Mountain Dew can that changes color with ice. I got my White Walker Scotch, and you can also now get a burger at Shake Shack. But the trick is you have to order it. It's not on menu. You have to order. It's off menu. You have to order it in High Valerian.
Yes, but they have like a thing apparently so that you can pronounce the stuff correctly.
Yeah, apparently it's like a Jakari's burger, so it's like fire, and then then it's
like
then
a milkshake.
Yeah, so it's the fire and ice. Whatever.
Well, I looked at the price. It's $7.99 for the burger, and if I remember right, that place doesn't come with fries.
Oh, sweet. Well, there you go. Look at that.
And the shake was $6.89 or something like that. So you're paying like $15 before French fries.
Don't be cheap. Moving on. Disney.
I do have to add, I didn't leave a comment on that one, that the catch is also that they will not serve you the burger for 10 years because they accidentally worked with George R.R. Martin directly on this. And that's just how long it takes.
No. How it works is you got to order the Winds of Winter burger, and then you die waiting for it because it never comes to your table.
And George R. R. Martin's in the back making it, and he just he starts he puts it all on the grill, and then he just walks away
and starts another grill, and then walks away and starts another grill. All right, whatever. We all know that you're very upset that Winds of Winter is never coming. And that may come, but dreams of summer will never happen ever.
I just want the books.
All right, so moving on. Hey, I'm going to read them once the show's over. So Disney, apparently, since they bought Fox, a lot of people have had questions about some of the Fox properties. And so at CinemaCon this last week, a lot of the reps for Disney were there to answer questions. And so one of the things that people asked is the future of Aliens and Planet of the Apes and the Kingsman series. And Disney said, nope, we're going to be releasing all new. Those are going to continue.
We just had the perfect Planet of the Apes reboot done. Don't need any.
Well, my guess is they can continue on and just do the Charlton Heston version where the space people come back, the astronauts come back, and the planet's all fucked up. But they're going to continue. They're going to make more. Are you kidding me? Disney is like the franchise heaven. I don't even know why anybody asks these questions. If it's a franchise, Disney's doing it. So yeah, they're going to continue with the Kingsman movies, which is no shock. They've already shot one, and apparently they're in production on a second one right now. So they'll do the Kingsman movie. Planet of the Apes was the one that really got me excited is the Alien series. So they're looking into all possible ways to continue this. I really hope Disney takes a hard look at this and says, we want to give the people what they want, and what we want is the Neil Blomkamp movie.
We want that. That had Ripley back and everything.
So I know a lot of people were worried that once Disney bought Fox, anything that wasn't PG or PG-13 was just going to get
canned. You're going to get anything that's not making money. If there's something that Disney can print out dollar bills with,
my guess is that Disney's
that until the printer falls apart.
My guess is that Disney is going to probably come up with some kind of a new label. I don't think they'll still use Fox because Fox is going to be into other things. But my guess is they're going to come up with some new, like in the 90s and 2000s, they had Miramax, right? So my guess is they'll come out with something like that all their R-rated properties will be under.
Yeah.
So anyway, but the good news is that Fox is going to continue making all these R-rated movies. They've already announced they're going to continue with the Deadpool series. X-Men. Well, they're going to continue with X-Men, but it's going to be a while before we get them. right now they don't even want to talk about X-Men in the MCU. They're 100% talking about the 2 X-Men movies coming out this year. The New Mutants, I think we talked about that the rumors were it was going to get released on Hulu. Well, apparently not. Disney says it's still on the slate for release and theatrical release. So that's the horror Disney or a horror Marvel spinoff movie, I guess. I don't really know, but who knows? Apparently that's still coming out though, and they are really touting, saying the Dark Phoenix was always intended to be a send off for the X-Men, which I am not buying at all. I think that's why a lot of the reshoots were done to make that movie a finale instead of an ongoing series. But apparently Dark Phoenix, early reactions to it though, surprisingly, have been pretty good. Apparently people are saying this X-Men movie might not be terrible.
Well, I mean, what they need to do is just let X-Men die for like 5 years.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
To like just forget about the movies for a little bit, and then Kylo Ren said in everyone's favorite Star Wars movie, you have to kill the past. You just have to let it die. And I think that's what Marvel's going to do with the X-Men. I mean, I'm pretty sure that is what they're going to do with the X-Men. Kevin Feige came out. People were asking him questions about Marvel and X-Men in the MCU, and he said, "Listen, it's going to be a long time. We have a 5-year plan right now already mapped out, and that was before we even knew about the X-Men. So, I think we might start sprinkling in some mutants here and there. I think some of these characters are too good for them to not start incorporating early, but I think what we're going to see a lot of this merger is I think we're going to see the Fantastic Four get done faster, and I think we're going to see a lot of the villains and the rich characters, like backstory characters, are the ones who are going to kind of come to the forefront. The actual X-Men, I don't think we're getting for a while. I think until Marvel starts hitting duds, like if they make they release the Eternals and they release a Silver Surfer movie and they tank, all of a sudden you're going to see an X-Men movie get fast tracked. Yeah, but the thing is though is that they're not financially obligated to have to do any of it. I mean, they can literally just take X-Men and just lock it up in the Disney vault and never do them ever again, and they will still be just fine.
Well, I mean what people got to realize too is the X-Men, they're a heavy hitter. I mean, they are their own cinematic universe. You can carry Fox proved that you can carry an entire cinematic universe with an X-Men franchise, with that whole wave of characters with mutants. Even if you make for every one good one, you make 3 really shitty ones, people will still continue to watch these movies for 20 years.
Make 3 really shitty Wolverine movies, then you still end up doing Old Man Logan, which turned out to be the best Wolverine movie.
Well, that was the third one, but yeah, I get your point. And the second one wasn't terrible, but it was average. It was mediocre, but that's the whole point. Is like the X-Men can carry their own franchise. So it makes sense for Marvel. Like right now they are not slowing down. I mean, Captain Marvel, which I thought was okay, made over $1 billion. I mean, there is no reason for them to right now to even think about putting the X-Men out there. Just continue with what you got, and then when people are like, "Oh, are Marvel going to run out of steam? What are they going to do?" Bam! X-Men. And now everything has changed.
And like, oh, we're starting to get a low production. Yeah, that's when they're going to slap out the X-Men.
Once every person in Marvel's too old to play their characters anymore, X-Men is
all they have to do is put out a poster, and people will just lose their goddamn minds.
That being said, I do think Fantastic Four and like Silver Surfer and Galactus and stuff will be coming out sooner than the X-Men.
I can see that one happening first.
Little Marvel news we had. Apparently Doctor Doom, it looks like Doctor Strange Part 2 is going to be coming out. Sounds like that's going to be coming out next year. Sounds like Doctor Strange, keep wanting to say Doctor Doom. Doctor Strange, the sequel, whatever that's going to be called, apparently is taking the place of the Eternals movie. They are currently casting that, and I think that movie's a little bit bigger than they anticipated, so they're moving it back to give it a little more time. And in its place, like I said, Doctor Strange 2. So we're going to get that movie sooner than we thought.
So we'll find out that he's actually been unsnapped.
Yeah, well, considering we're getting sequels for every single character that died, with the exception of, like, I guess, Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. Other than that, everybody else in that freaking Infinity War is getting a sequel at some point. So, hey. All right, let's see. We've got a couple quick ones real fast. Let's knock these out. John Cho is going to be starring in the live-action Cowboy Bebop series on Netflix. I did not watch the anime, so I'm not sure what this is about, but people seem real excited about it.
I haven't watched the anime at all, but like you said, the people that do, the weeaboos, are very happy.
Yes, they are very, very happy. So we'll take that as a good sign. I will watch the Netflix show, and Ryan will, and then maybe we'll review it when it comes out. But until then, good news, I guess. Something that I would not consider good news is apparently Hallmark is letting us all know that they're going to be releasing 40 new Christmas movies this year. 40.
Ooh. My wife took up all the time that we had with Christmas movies on in the background. We couldn't turn them off, even though she wasn't even going to be in the damn room.
I know is I'm going to be calling my cable provider this week to see if I can cancel the Hallmark channel.
Just cancel that and just leave all the rest of your channels?
Yes, if I can opt out of the Hallmark channel, that would be
great. If you
are
successful in that, please let me know.
I will. Let's see. Things that do make me happy is that Lucifer is coming back on Netflix. We talked about this last year when the show was saved from cancellation from Fox. Netflix picked it up. They're going to be doing a 10-episode season 4, and that is coming out. So they did a little promo this morning where they showed, it's kind of cool. They did the guy who plays Lucifer getting out of a pool with a 666 tattoo. Today marks... Well, this morning when they released it, it was 666 hours until the release of season 4 on Netflix, which for us people who don't, count time that way, is May 8th. So in the next month, we will all be getting more Lucifer. Which
do they have all the previous episodes?
I believe they're all available now. So that was part of the deal with Netflix made is they got the first 3 seasons of Lucifer. I really like it. It's a good show. The first season I think is only 12 or 13 episodes. Season 2 is the same. Season 3 ended up being, I think, 16 or 18 episodes. But it's a fun show. It's a good procedural that also has a lot of supernatural elements. And I don't know. I like it. I think it's a good show.
I'll give it a shot.
It's kind of a cop procedural that's also supernatural and funny. But I would recommend checking it out. It seems like it's going to be a little more risque on the on Netflix, though. We'll see, but I don't care. Whatever. This season is going to be about Adam and Eve. Last season was about Cain and Abel. Season before that is different archangels and stuff. Pretty cool show. Let's see here. Loading up for the streaming war we've talked about is Amazon, and they have just inked they're just inking, that's what I'm noticing, a lot of these streaming places, that was a really bad transition, but with these streaming wars coming, I'm starting to notice that a lot of these networks aren't necessarily bringing shows in, they're bringing in creators to create massive amounts of shows. Amazon, I think Seth Rogen just inked a deal with somebody, I don't remember who, I think it might have been Amazon. Amazon just inked a deal with the West...
Or no, was it? No, that's not Seth Rogen. Never mind. I was thinking of Will Ferrell.
God, who did? Oh yeah, Will Ferrell inked a deal with somebody too. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But I can't even keep track of who these people are inking deals with. But I do know Amazon inked an overall a 9-figure deal with the creators of Westworld, Jonathan Nolan and his wife Lisa Joy. They, if Nolan sounds familiar, it's because yes, he is the brother of Christopher Nolan. But they're known mostly for writing a lot of Christopher Nolan scripts and being the showrunners of Westworld. So Amazon's bringing them in to produce 10 new shows.
I mean, it's a good time right now to be a creator. That's for sure.
Yes, it is. And then, like you said, Will Ferrell signed a deal with. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Before I get to Will Ferrell signing...
Long-time business partner, and then I think he signed a deal somewhere else.
Yes, I'm trying to pull it up right now. Well, Adam McKay and Will Ferrell have been doing... They had Gary Sanchez Productions. They've done a ton of comedies. They've done a lot of shows, movies together, like Step Brothers, Talladega Nights. Apparently, they have ended their partnership. People kind of poked fun at it that the last movie that partnership created was Watson and Holmes, which was one of the worst rated Will Ferrell movies of all time.
I heard it was absolutely a garbage pile.
Yeah, I've heard it's not. I've heard they have there's not even a single funny joke in it, and that's from people who aren't too hard on these people, but are on these kind of movies. But hey, whatever, man. I guess it was bad. I don't know. All I know is their partnership is over. It sounds like they're still friends and they're going to work together occasionally, but just their production studio is over. It does not say who Will Ferrell inked a deal with. We were talking about Seth Rogen because Seth Rogen just inked a new deal. Apparently, it seems like Preacher, the show that he is showrunning right now, season 4 is going to be its last season. I don't know if that has anything to do with Seth Rogen's new deal, but it is a little funny. Let's see here. He signed a multi-platform production deal with Lionsgate. So I don't know what streaming service Lionsgate owns or what network they own, but he's going to be doing multiple productions for them. And like I said, it comes on the heels of all of a sudden Preacher ending with season 4. I don't know if that was because of it or planned before, but as someone who watches Preacher, who's loved the series, I really hope that they knew that going into this and they give it a good finale. Hopefully it's not just show's over.
Yeah. I've still got to watch season 3. I want to find out I can't wait to see how they find God.
Yeah, I love it. The show is definitely not for everybody. It is out there, but I don't know. I love it. All right, a show that I wish they'd cancel is The Walking Dead. Well, apparently that's not going to happen. Not only is The Walking Dead continuing, Fear the Walking Dead is still going strong, and they have announced that they're going to be adding a third zombie Walking Dead show. This is going to take place, I think it sounds like a little bit in the future. This show is going to focus on the kids who are now grown up who've dealt with they're like the first generation kids of the zombie apocalypse. So this is like normal to them. Yeah. So I'm guessing, I'm thinking Saved by the Bell, but with zombies.
At what point have the zombies decomposed to where they can't even be walking skeletons anymore?
At what point will AMC realize that their ratings keep slipping and no one cares about zombies anymore? That's what I want to know. I mean, I know a lot of people. I got a lot of friends who still watch this show. I have not watched a single episode of the new season of The Walking Dead, and I have not watched Fear the Walking Dead since season 1. There's too many other good shows. I just don't care. Here's the thing. I don't mind shows like
on right now to have to deal with mediocre shows.
Well, and the thing is like, I don't mind a show that kills its stars. I don't mind a show that continues on like a soap opera, but I don't mind Game of Thrones. People die, right? It sucks. You lose them, but there's a story there that's going to come to an end. I can't just watch a show that is, in essence, a zombie soap opera. I just don't care.
But there's
no ending.
No zombie.
The ending is everyone you like will eventually die and be replaced with somebody else, and then you'll care about them, and then they'll die, and they'll be replaced by somebody else. There's just not an end to the show. I don't care. Anyway, speaking of things I also don't care about, they released the first trailer for the Addams Family animated, and I realized how weird and kind of strange that property is. Yeah,
and it was actually a pretty good trailer. I enjoyed it, although I am a little sad that I will forever have that childhood crush on Wednesday Addams from what's her name?
Christina Ricci?
Yes. I had a huge crush on Wednesday Addams and Christina Ricci when I was a kid.
Yeah, well. Yeah, I was never a big Addams Family fan, and they, like I said, this new animated one just, I don't know, it looks weird to me.
You're not into the Addams Family at all?
No, if I want to watch like dead monsters or whatever, I'll just watch Hotel Transylvania. That's pretty funny.
No, this is a million times better than Hotel Transylvania. Don't even start going down that route.
Whatever. All right, moving on. Apparently, Destiny 3 has been announced by Bungie, and that they're saying that it's going to be coming out with the Xbox Scarlet, which is the next version of the Xbox. And it's going to be a lot more RPG, and it's going to be a lot harder than previous. They're going to get away from just the MMO style and go more to an RPG style, which I think is great. So I'm excited for that.
So it'll be more single player.
Well, there'll be more. I don't think they want to necessarily go to just single player. So the problem with Destiny 1 and 2 in general was the story. There was almost no in-game story, and it just ended up becoming running around with other people farming, trying to get materials.
Yeah, I just remember people talk about how they just go into a cave and just keep shooting at this one thing until...
Yeah, so I mean, they still want to do the massive online player, but they want it to be much more of an RPG. I think they want to go more World of Warcraft, where it's actually a story, and you care about what's going on, you care about the worlds, and you care about everything else. So, hey, fine with me. I don't care, whatever.
Wait, what did you say the new Xbox was going to be?
Xbox Scarlet is what they're calling it. I don't know. I think it's coming out next year. I haven't seen anything about it yet, but it's supposed to be real powerful. I don't know. Whatever. And then let's see here. Dave Bautista has officially quit wrestling, probably because he's got like 30 new movies coming out in the next year.
You realize that he can just have a stunt double do stuff for him now if he really needs to, and he makes more money than he would ever make.
Well, I mean, with the movies he does, why continue to beat the hell out of yourself wrestling? I totally get it. Let's see here. Apparently, what studio is this? I don't want to shit on him without giving him the proper due. Who is releasing the new Elton John movie? It is Paramount. So apparently Paramount's taking some heat right now because Elton John, a movie, the biography is about a singer who is a gay man, and apparently they want to cut a whole bunch of the gay man content out of the movie, making it, I don't know, I guess a lot of it is there's one scene in particular that involves him and another man spooning naked, and they want to remove that and anything like that out of the movie so they can make it PG-13, and I guess non-controversial.
I don't understand how you can do an Elton John movie that isn't. I mean, I guess you can keep like some of like the gay parts in it, but
I think if you're going to make a movie about someone who is, you know, a very outspoken, you know, about his sexual orientation, he always has been, and the story isn't necessarily about him being gay, but him being gay is a huge part of his story. I think you just have to. You don't have to have like, you know, 9 erotic lovemaking scenes in the movie, but I don't think you should censor it either. I mean, I think if you want a real biop, but I mean, these guys are in for the money. They don't really. I think like this and Bohemian Rhapsody, I've heard some of these same criticisms of is, you know, they're trying to give you like a real vanilla. You know, they kind of glance over a lot of their sexual orientation and focus more on the music. But I don't know, you know, that's the thing with Freddie Mercury and Elton John. I don't know how you can tell a story about them without including their orientation, especially because of the times they lived in.
You know, Freddie Mercury died of AIDS, which was at the time considered a gay person's disease.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how you can do a biopic on someone who's 1,000 times more gay than Freddie Mercury ever was.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
like in China, they from what I understand, because I still haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody, like they cut back on the homosexual stuff.
No, apparently in China they cut out anything that had to do with homosexuality.
So there's no way Elton John movies are going to be played in China.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like, if you're going to go in on this movie, I mean, I can understand to an extent if you want to make it PG-13 because you want to make more money off it, but, I mean, you know, I haven't seen the cut of the movie. If these scenes are integral to the movie, then just keep them in, man. I mean, if you're going to tell a story, if you're going to go all in on a biop, go all in on it, man. Like, tell the story. Tell the real story.
The viewing public can handle it.
Yes, of course we can handle it. I mean, listen, I cannot imagine any guy or girl who is really like has a problem with homosexuality going, oh, what's this Elton John movie about? We should just go check this movie out, and then being in the theater and be like, oh my God, he's laying naked with a man, right? I mean,
you're gonna get a whole bunch of evangelicals that are gonna be going to this movie like clutching their pearls. I mean,
whether you make it PG-13 or R because a couple dudes are spooning, I mean,
yeah.
Just go. I don't, and not just that. Like, if it's PG-13, I don't think a lot of kids are gonna go see this movie. Queen is different than Elton John. Queen is like still cool. I don't think I knew anybody in high school who was just rocking out the Elton John. Right? I mean,
the last time I rocked out to Elton John was the Lion King soundtrack.
Yeah, so. I mean, and that's, you know, it's so I mean, Elton John. A movie about Elton John is gonna be, you know, kind of geared towards an older crowd anyway. So just
in the 60s and the 70s.
I think Paramount is wussing out on this. I think they need to just let this be what it is, and if there's a bunch of scenes in it that have, you know, a lot of man-on-man action that they need to be in the movie to tell the story, then let them be in the movie to tell the story.
The people that are going to go to the movie are going to see it regardless. So
listen, I watch HBO, Cinemax, and Showtime, and I have seen there's some homosexual lovemaking scenes in those shows.
Sense8 or something like that.
I watched Spartacus. There was some like hot man on man, like 5-minute love scenes. It's like, listen, there's nothing in this Elton John movie that's going to shock me at this point. I'll tell you right now. Yeah. So just don't be wusses. Just throw it out there. Let people consume it. Elton John was a gay man. Let him be a gay man. If you're going to make a movie about a gay man, then don't be afraid to put in the gay man stuff in it.
Yeah. Just let it be, Paramount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure you show us Rocket Man. All right, and then finally, Shazam was a big hit this weekend. I mean, relative speaking, it's funny how people view things, right? So, the Justice League was a total flop because it made $700 million, but Shazam is a massive success because it made $50 million opening weekend.
Yeah. Greatest, and wins the war of who is the best Captain Marvel.
Oh God! Well, I mean, if you go just by box office, Captain Marvel made $1 billion, and Shazam's going to make like $400 million, $500 million. I bet. I mean, relatively speaking, supposedly this movie was made on a budget of like $800 million, $80 million. So I mean, it's already made its money back. Its opening weekend was about $150 million worldwide. So I mean, it's doing well, but
it did a lot of marketing for it. Does it seem like they did?
Once again, it's all about perspective. Solo was considered a massive flop, and it made almost $500 million. So, I mean, whatever. I've seen the movie. I enjoyed the movie. It's fine. Everyone's kind of talking about it like it's the greatest thing ever because it's fun. It's really lighthearted. And it is, but I don't necessarily think movies that are a little bit darker are bad. Like, I mean, we've talked about how much I enjoyed Man of Steel, and Wonder Woman. But this is, Shazam, listen, I'm not going to give a full review of Shazam here. I'm just going to say, listen, if you want to see a movie, if you're on the fence about Shazam, here's what it is. Most of the things you've seen in the trailer are what you're going to... Well, most of the things you see in the trailer, we're going to see in the movie. Most of the funny jokes you see in the trailer are the big jokes in the movie. There's not a lot there that you haven't seen in the trailer. So if you like the trailer, you're going to like the movie. It's kind of exactly what you saw. It's about a kid who gets powers and turns into Chuck, and he's goofy and dorky
and so they kind of is it more like they're trying to really just set up the origin story for future movies? I
just realized that was a terrible review I just gave of a movie. It's like what you saw in the trailer. Yeah, I mean, they don't set up an origin story. It is an origin story. I mean, this movie, here's the thing. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes long, 2 hours and 12 minutes long. It seems long. It should have been 2 hours tops. And the movie, while it's fun, it's just a movie. It's kind of the same criticism I had with Captain Marvel. Like, these guys have been doing these movies I just saw Aquaman, which is one of the most epically ridiculous things I've ever seen. And this movie is scaled way down where it's fun, and people have said it's the most fun DC movie since Superman. No, it's not. Like, Superman is stoic and epic. I mean, this movie's fun. It's like Big, but it's not as funny as Big. I mean, here's the problem. This movie, so many of the jokes just don't land. I mean, for a movie that's basically supposed to be a superhero comedy, the theater was relatively quiet. There wasn't a lot of laughing because the jokes weren't that funny, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a fine movie. It's got a lot of heart. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I really enjoyed about it. I mean, I'd give it a solid probably 7. But a lot of people are talking about, like, this is the best DC movie so far. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I feel like every time a new DC movie comes out that's not like two grown men want to beat each other up, everyone's like, this is the best thing ever. It's not. Like, this movie is really trying to be a Marvel movie, and it doesn't work as a Marvel movie. And I don't know. DC isn't Marvel. I wish they'd quit trying to be Marvel.
Who's Captain Marvel going, or Shazam going against in this movie?
So he goes against Dr. I don't even know his name. Dr. Max Strong.
Oh.
Mark Strong.
Dr. Strong. Dr.
Schiavano, or I think it's Dr. Schiavano. Basically, it's so anybody not familiar with Shazam, there's a wizard who can he chooses a champion that embodies the brains of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, and whatever, the lightning of Zeus. And so he embeds him with powers to champion right and good. and help them keep the 7 deadly sins at bay, right? So guilt, guilt? I don't know, gluttony. I'm not familiar with my 7 deadly sins. Too much Xbox time, bad producing, all the big popular sins. So anyway, the whole point is that he's supposed to keep the sins at bay. Well, he keeps looking for someone who's worthy, and he doesn't find the people who's worthy. So one of the Dr. Savano decides to take the power for himself. So he gets the 7 deadly sins, and Zachary Levi has to fight him. I mean, that's basically, and so Shazam, the kid, Billy Batson, he's a kid. He gets these powers. When he says Shazam, he turns into an adult, and he has all the powers of basically like Superman, but also lightning, right? So, I mean, listen, there's some good fight scenes in here, and the movie's fun. It's just, I don't know. It's not, like I said, it tries to be big, but big was funny.
To a lot of different directions, and they just didn't really pick like the best one.
Well, I think the problem is they're like, okay, let's buy beer, and then they buy beer, and they spit it out, and they're like, oh, let's buy candy instead. And I mean, it's funny, but I don't know. I just didn't find it as humorous. Yeah. My kids really liked it. They thought it was fun. I mean, I sound like I'm shitting all over the movie. It's not a terrible movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's just.
Do you think it's more for the kids movie, or is it more for the old DC fans?
I definitely think. I mean, I think this movie. I would say it's geared towards the kids, but there's some really violent stuff in here, and it's really long. I'm not really sure who this movie's geared toward, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. What I see about Shazam is this movie had a. I feel like they tried to make the most Marvel version of this movie they could, and this is what they kind of came up with. So, I mean, whatever. I enjoy it, but it was fun. I'd put it. It's better than. It's better than Justice League because it's a better movie, but it's definitely Aquaman and Wonder Woman are way better movies. So, I went with my kids and my wife. Me and my wife were both like, I mean, whatever. There's nothing. There's nothing in this movie that you haven't probably seen before, and there's nothing about this that stands out in a way that makes you go, "This is why you need to go see Shazam." Right?
Yeah. So. Maybe see it in the theater, and if you have to, wait until it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to go see Shazam, it's a fun movie. It's got some decent jokes. You're going to see, like I said, a lot of the good stuff you've already seen in the trailer. The last 20 minutes or so I really enjoyed, but it's just, I mean, whatever. And if you want to stay, there's 2 post-credit scenes. The first one you won't even remotely understand unless you're a diehard Shazam fan, which nobody is. So, I mean, the movie, I mean, like I said,
they do it that way. They just
dude. There's like a talking caterpillar. Even I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, whatever. I'll go home and look it up. But I mean, it's whatever. It's fun. I mean, there's some cool stuff with his like foster family. That's pretty cool. And there's some storylines in here that are kind of sad. I mean, the movie definitely has more to it than just punch people in the face, but. But I mean, like, when he becomes a superhero, I'd like to. He basically starts doing what a 14-year-old do. They start robbing ATMs and they make YouTube videos and upload them, right? But then there's like it felt like forever. Like there's like 30 minutes of him just not doing the right thing, and then like he's got to save people. He's like, oh my god, what do I do? I don't know. I mean, they dive too hard into that he has no idea what he's doing, right? It's just after a while you're just like. You're 14. You're not like 5. At some point, you'd be like, well, I've got muscles. Let's save this bus full of people.
Yeah. You have had some responsibility probably in your lifetime.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like for instance, there's a gag where the bus is falling, and he's like, oh no. I mean, he's established that he's super strong already. He knows this. He doesn't know he can fly yet, but he's like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? And he gets a mattress and lays it down on the ground. Like, come on. Like, a 14-year-old kid is going to know that a mattress on the ground is not going to stop a bus. So, like, the problem is sometimes the movie plays it really serious. Like, Billy Batson as a kid is a very smart, very serious kid. He's gone through some trauma. He's not really that funny. Life kind of sucks. And so, but then when he turns into Captain Marvel, or, well, Shazam, he turns into this kid who's like so excited he's got superpowers that he's almost an idiot, right? I'm just like, I don't know. I like the movie. It, like I said, I'd give it a solid 7, but there's nothing about this that a lot of the jokes just don't hit for me. And just being a fun, lighthearted movie isn't going to cut it for me, man. We live in a day and age that There's too many good superhero movies. It's the same reason I wouldn't give Captain Marvel a pass. We live in an age where when you can make Infinity War and you can make what's Endgame, which supposedly is mind blowing, and and the Winter Soldier. They've done these movies too many times to just give us a whatever movie. So I mean, whatever.
All right, I'll wait until it comes out on digital. So
all right, so there's our Shazam review. All right, well, I think it's all the news we got. Unless you got something else you want to talk about.
No, I'm good.
All right, well, I think we do have some questions from the Faithful 50. Ryan?
Yes, sir. We do every day before or the day of. I will post a picture on our Facebook page and give you a space to leave some comments for the questions. And this week we have some really good ones.
All right, what do we got?
First off, we have David. He says, shoot, your face is over partially. Get out. Close the Brian window. No, now I just got rid of stuff. I'm like, God damn it, Brian, you're all over the place.
I know. I have this powers. Do you need me to pull it up?
What will we do without Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man after the Endgame? Who's saying, has he seen the Endgame already?
Right, so David's asking what's life going to be like without Robert Downey Jr.?
As Iron Man.
Well, to your point, first of all, David, we don't know that Iron Man's going to die. And if you've already seen the movie and this is a giant spoiler, we're going to hunt you down. And we're going to have a really uncomfortable conversation.
I think Iron Man is going to take more of a mentor role over whoever is going to be taking over the Avengers.
I think regardless of whether it's...
Like every other movie, I'm like, hey, I invented this really cool thing.
I don't necessarily think we're going to have life. And, here's my hot take for Endgame. I mean, I definitely think there's going to be some changes. Are we going to... I'm just not sure if Marvel's going to actually kill one of their main characters. I think whatever happens to Captain America, whatever happens to Iron Man or Thor, they may take these pieces off the board, but still leave it open where they can return, right? That's how I think these are going to end.
They're going to send them to the Marvel retirement community where it's like a planet. It's kind of like Planet Nowhere. I'm gonna tell you how this is gonna go. They're gonna kill off a couple of these characters. We're gonna get a few movies without them, and then they're gonna release the next Avengers. And when it does half as much money as Endgame, well, suddenly Captain America and Iron Man will magically make their way back from the Marvel retirement land. And they're gonna do what they've done in the comic books like 60 times now.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they try to shock everybody.
I think here's what I think we're gonna get. I think we could get a scenario where Captain America and or Iron Man both sacrifice themselves, or at least you think they are, and then you get the big emotional impact of their death. And then in the post-credit scene, you're gonna see them both wake up in some other dimension or something.
And then they come back 3 years later.
And then they'll come back once they've decided, once Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. have done 2 other movies that don't work and realize they need those fat Marvel paychecks. They'll come back. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think on a serious note, I think Marvel's done a really good job of introducing a lot of other characters. I will say this. I still don't care about anybody as much as I care about Captain America and Iron Man and Thor. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen to the main 3, but I do not expect them to be going anywhere.
But to be fair, we haven't gotten nearly enough Spider-Man. We haven't gotten nearly enough Captain Marvel. We haven't gotten nearly enough Doctor Strange. Nearly enough Black Panther to care about these characters the way we care about the original Avengers. So, give us a few more movies and honestly, give us a good storyline, and I'll watch anything Marvel puts out. Yeah,
so will I. So, thank you, David. Next up, we have a question from Chris. And he wants to know, do you think Deadpool will be in the new X-Men / Marvel movies now that the Rat King owns Fox?
Disney. So Disney, we do know that they are going to continue with the Deadpool movies. I do not think that they are ever going to put Deadpool in the Marvel or X-Men movies. I think they're going to keep Deadpool as its own little X-Men universe thing and continue to keep doing what they're doing.
Deadpool is definitely going to stay in his own little contained X-Men universe, but I think that Disney might just kind of maybe let them have more characters.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see him do because he's a.
I would say probably maybe more of like the more obscure like mutants and stuff like that.
I think you could get definitely, but I also think we could get cameos from maybe Thor. We might see cameos from Chris Evans in these movies. I think he's going to have his own just metaverse is what he's going to have, where you might get current. But as far as
what's so great about Deadpool is that you can do like a hardcore metaverse, and it doesn't have to affect everything else. That's why Deadpool just makes it so great because he can just.
And here's the best part: if they do it, if you write it smartly, you could include Deadpool and say an Avengers movie, but still not have him be part of the MCU, which would be amazing.
You know that the opening scene for Deadpool 3 is going to be like what he was doing during Endgame, basically.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now that they actually have access to all the characters and the footage, you know they're going to do that. I would too, but
they're just going to like, hey, let's just do what Deadpool was doing during the whole Infinity War. It's going to be him like.
Yeah,
you know,
so Chris, to answer your question, yes and no. He's going to have his own universe. I don't think he's ever going to be completely integrated into the MCU or new X-Men universe. But he's also going to be part of the MCU.
Are we going to get Cable and Thanos?
Oh my God!
On the same screen.
We may even also get Josh Brolin.
See, they won't have Cable or Thanos, but they will just have Brolin.
I still like the idea that they were throwing out there for the third Deadpool movie to have Hugh Jackman playing Hugh Jackman.
Mm-hmm.
In the movie, but like. Deadpool thinks he's Wolverine. He's like, dude, like he kidnaps him, and he's like, no, I'm Hugh Jackman. I'm an actor. What are you doing?
That would be.
That's how I would pitch it.
I'm really hoping that they take what Disney just gives them license just to have fun.
Well, and I would love it if he finds a way to keep the Fox X-Men still kind of popping up inside the Deadpool universe, just to keep that franchise alive in some ways like that, even though I'm not a big fan of that franchise, but just for fun. It'd be great.
Yeah,
so there you go. All right, thanks, Chris. This is a great question.
Yeah, hopefully they do it the right way. Let's see. So next up we have a question from Jeff.
All right.
He wants to know which current superheroes, actor or actress, would make a great other superhero. So he says Jake Gyllenhaal plays Mysterio in Spider-Man, but he thinks that he'd be a better or an incredible Joker. So
I think he'd be a good Batman too, honestly.
Yeah, that's true. So take an actor and put him in a different role. Brian.
All right, for me this is easy. Jason Momoa, who is currently Aquaman, should have been cast as Lobo.
Ooh, that's a good one.
My main man. Dude, like, he is Lobo. He's perfect to be Lobo.
It's easier to do it with DC movies than it is Marvel movies. Because
they do such a good job of casting.
Like, they got, like, the right person, so it's hard to, like...
Dude, Gail Gadot is the perfect Wonder Woman, and I love Henry Cavill as Superman.
Let's see. I had one earlier. I would put instead of Tobey Maguire, I'd put that Tom Holland guy as Spider-Man. But
can we cast Ryan Reynolds as the Green Lantern? Can we catch Deadpool as Green Lantern?
Just make him go back into the animated suit.
I would do it. Why not? Let's see. Who else?
Let's see. What is a superhero that we don't currently have that we could try and recast?
I think T'Challa. I think Chadwick Boseman would make a great Spawn. I feel like he'd make a really good Spawn.
Yeah. Let's just go with like the most iconic one, like Robert Downey Jr. Like he can't play Tony Stark. Or he can only play Tony Stark, but let's just slap him into like.
I think he would make a good Hal Jordan.
Yeah, he could be the cocky guy.
Make him the older Hal Jordan. I think if you wanted to slap, I think.
How about we take Chris Evans, and you make him Doctor Doom?
I don't think I can ever see Chris Evans as a bad guy again.
I know, but I just want to mix it up. Let's see, Chris Hemsworth, Galactus.
What?
Hey.
What? I want to see Bruce Willis play Silver Surfer.
now the Silver Surfer.
I want Henry Cavill to play Professor X, the most yoked out Professor X in history. I would say Henry Cavill play Cyclops.
Vincent Del Toro, and we'll make him Professor X.
You can't just, dude. I want somebody who have to shave their head and it looks ridiculous.
Yeah, who's got like the big luscious hair?
Somebody keeps
British guy.
Somebody keeps on the internet. People keep trying to make Harry Potter. I forget his name. Daniel Radcliffe, the new Wolverine. Every time I see it, I kind of dig it.
What? Daniel Radcliffe is Wolverine?
Dude, have him do a few push-ups. Wolverine in the comics is like 5'1".
Yeah, that's true. He's supposed to be like, like a badger.
Give me some Harry Potter Wolverine. I'm in for that. Let's do it.
Potter Wolverine, but he's got to be like 5'1", but he's got like tree trunk arms.
I still like Kevin Smith's idea of putting Tom Cruise as Wolverine. Let's do
it. Wolverine. Might as well make Oprah Storm. I mean, why not?
Sure, let's do it. I want an old geriatric.
I'm the new Oprah.
I want Samuel L. Jackson to play Black Panther. Welcome to Wakanda, motherfucker.
Yeah. Let's see. I can't think of anything else. I really want to see Oprah as Storm now, though.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
She's overweight.
Oh my god, you're killing me. All right, moving on. Thank you, Jeff. That's a great question. Ryan's gonna be dreaming of Oprah in a spandex suit, flying with white hair. Way to go. Go, Ryan.
Maybe that should be our show title.
I just got a serious look into your sick and twisted fantasy life. All Oprah all day.
Hey, she's doing Weight Watchers now. Chris posted an image of only one more week and it's got Cersei until people that don't watch Game of Thrones have to listen to people talk. Hey, you know what, Chris? Shut up.
Oh, is he talking shit about Game of Thrones?
Yeah, don't talk bad about Game of Thrones.
Whatever, Chris. You already told me that you and your wife have watched like the first episode and you might get into it.
Yeah. Whatever. Terrible Chris that we don't like. So we have another question from our good buddy X.
Oh, what's up, X?
He wants to know, would you pick up the light grenade? Is he talking about like the Dragon Ball Z one where Piccolo like shoots a big light grenade?
Would I pick up a light grenade?
Yes. I don't know which light grenade he's talking about.
I don't know either. What light grenade are you talking about? I'm Googling light grenade to see if I were missing the obvious reference.
Well, that's what I Googled, and then it came up with like the Piccolo like shooting the light grenade.
I mean, is the plasma grenade.
So, does Halo? No, that's the sticky grenade.
That's the plasma grenade. Light grenades.
We don't know X.
There's an album by Incubus.
That maybe came
out in 2006.
Oh. He's gonna send us a message that's gonna make complete sense.
Of course he is. All I'm seeing is Incubus. Right. So I would not pick up the Incubus album. I'm not a big Incubus fan.
No, and I would not pick up the light grenade from the Dragon Ball Z clip that I watched because it blasted the guy pretty bad.
Let me look at this. Or maybe you're reading it wrong. Let me see what he said.
He said, "Would you pick up the light grenade?"
Would you pick up the light grenade? Is it from this movie? What is this movie that you posted a picture of?
That wasn't him. Was it?
What is the movie that you posted the picture of? I don't think I've seen this movie.
I don't know.
Is it like Baron Munchausen?
He's always posting weird stuff.
This post for the picture for the post this week. That one.
Oh, Mom and Dad Saved the World.
I've never seen that movie, I don't think. Is there a light grenade in that movie? I bet you there's a light grenade in that movie.
I didn't even... Oh, okay. So there was I think there's a light grenade is in the movie.
Of course.
It's been so long. It just, I don't know why, but that's what popped into my head.
All right, Chris.
Chris, we completely lost your reference.
No. We didn't lose shit. I don't think I've seen this movie. Ryan posted the picture and lost the reference.
Yes.
I would like it for the record that I found the reference.
Yes. It's been a very long time since I've seen the movie, and I only knew about it because I saw a clip while we were watching the Goldbergs TV show.
So why did you pick it if you don't even remember the movie? Because you know somebody's going to reference the movie of whatever clip you put.
I was hoping it was going to be a reference that I would have immediately picked up on.
I'm going to say that Ryan would definitely pick up the light grenade and then eat it.
And then explode.
Hopefully. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for your question, X. Sorry, Ryan sucks at his job.
You know what? I do not suck.
That's not what I heard.
That was mean. I don't appreciate that.
All right. Is that all we got?
Yes, that's all we got. I have jumped on the light grenade and sacrificed myself and destroyed everything that was
I can already tell you what the From the Faithful 50 clip for this week is going to be called. What the fuck is a light grenade? Yeah, way to go.
Good. We've already done it.
All right, well, before we get the hell out of here, we got a couple weekly recommendations for you guys. Ryan, would you like to go first?
Yes, mine is to get the Major League Baseball app, and you can watch all the baseball games if you like baseball. And my wife are big Mariners fans, and the Mariners are 10-2 right now, even though they're supposed to be on a rebuilding year. And they dumped like 99.9% of their players. They played tonight. I'm just trying to check the score.
They won. Now they're 12-2, and they scored 6 runs, which means they're the first team in the history of Major League Baseball to score at least 6 runs in their first 13 games.
Wait, so did they win?
Yeah, they won 6-5.
It was tied 5-5 last I saw.
Wow. Dang, man. I'm not even a huge baseball fan. I mean, I like the Mariners, but it's hard to believe that they're going to be good because they've been bad they haven't made the playoffs in like 19 years.
Yeah, but ever since that 2000 season where they won like 100 games or something, and then they just got their asses handed to them.
This is the best. Yeah, I mean, God, honestly, when I lost hope was 2001. Which are you talking about? Like, they won 116 games and didn't even make the World Series. It was like, come on. Whatever.
And then they never made the playoffs.
Dude, they're 12-2. It's the best start in our history. So, I mean, whatever. Hey. And they're bombing left and right.
Long baseball season. There's still 90-something more games to go.
Yeah, they probably, who knows? They probably won't be good in the long run, but hey, it's good to enjoy it now. So I think Ryan's saying watch the Mariners if you like baseball, or, it's baseball season. So
yeah.
All right, my recommendation this week is a TV show called Warrior. It's currently on Cinemax. The first episode just aired this last week. If you're not familiar with it, you are not alone. I have seen nothing about this. I saw a trailer like 3 days before it aired, and it caught my interest because they were like, from the mind of Bruce Lee. And I'm like, Bruce Lee? How's he writing stuff? So, real quick history of this, and I won't go too long. So back in the day when Bruce Lee was trying to really break into Hollywood, he had an idea for a TV show. Anybody seen the movie Dragon? They kind of reference this a little bit where he says he wants to make his ideas about a guy who goes around, he's a kung fu expert, and he goes around helping people from place to place. And they said, no, Asian actors can't star in shows and TVs, shows back in the 60s. And they ripped off his idea and put a white person as a kung fu expert, and the show became Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. So, anybody's ever watched Kung Fu, that was originally an idea that was spawned from a pitch that Bruce Lee made to Warner Brothers. Obviously, back in the 60s, it was a very different time, and Asian actors had a really hard time breaking through. In fact, Bruce Lee was one of the more famous. I think he was the first real big star that actually did it. But even as cool as he was, he could only get sidekick roles on the Green Hornet, and so he pitched a show. The show was called Warrior. It's the actual show he pitched to Warner Brothers that they rejected, and they eventually went with the show like it and turned it into Kung Fu. And Bruce Lee was so frustrated with it, he kept trying to pitch it, nobody would take it, that he put all his notes. He had pages and pages of notes about the show, how it would go, how the seasons would go, and he filed them away. Well, apparently this became a little bit of a legend. Very few people, other than the original people he pitched it to, had ever seen this manuscript. A lot of people even was, like, it's one of those things that Bruce Lee was such a legendary character in his life and his death that people thought, well, maybe this is just one of those things that is the legend of Bruce Lee, that he had this show that nobody had ever heard of. And
yeah.
And so Justin Lin, who's behind a lot of the Fast and Furious movies, apparently had heard, he'd always been interested in this idea. So now he's enough clout in Hollywood. He calls up Bruce Lee's daughter, who runs his estate, and says, "Hey, does this manuscript exist? And if it does, can I see it?" And she said, "Well, actually, funny story. I've been going through some of my father's stuff, trying to opt different projects that he might have wanted to turn into movies and stuff. And I just came across this manuscript, and I was getting ready to start pitching it to people. And so he took a look at it, and he's adapted the show Warrior based on Bruce Lee's original manuscripts for the series. And I'm going to tell you, man, this show is incredible. It is an amazing show. It's about a Chinese person, an immigrant, who comes over in, God, what is it? It's got to be like late 1800s, early 1900s, I'm thinking.
Oh, so it's not modern.
No. It comes into San Francisco in the big rush, and when a lot of Chinese people migrated over to America.
For the railroad, essentially.
And so what's crazy about this show, so this guy's on a quest to find somebody. So he's this badass Chinese, like, kung fu fighter. Like, he just whoops people's asses. And I love the fact that he does a lot of Bruce Lee's style. He's his style is very much imitated on Bruce Lee. So it's not hard to imagine Bruce Lee playing this role. And so he walks into a situation where Chinese Americans or immigrants are just lesser. I mean, it's very politically charged in a way that feels almost familiar right now with some of the immigration issues we have going on right now and how people feel about immigrants. But so the Chinese people come to San Francisco, and when they get there, they're dealing with white people who hate them. They're calling them all kinds of racial names and slurs, and they're looked at as just not even people. But they're not just getting it from the Americans; they're also getting it from their own people, because there's two Chinese gangs that have set up shop, and they trade Chinese immigrants like property, right? And so there's a Chinese turf war going on in Chinatown. There's an Irish group of people who don't like the Chinese because the Chinese are taking all the cheap jobs, who are rebelling against the rich people, and they're fighting the Chinese. And then there's all the rich people in San Francisco who are trying to keep everyone from warring with each other, but yet at the same time using them all.
Yeah.
And then you have the police force who doesn't want to get involved with any of this stuff, and most of the police force are Irish. And they don't want to protect the Chinese because the Chinese are being targeted by the Irish, but yet they create their first Chinatown special force, which you see like throughout movies and stuff like that you see later on. It is a really interesting, so it's all this political drama and intrigue, but it's also a kung fu show with unbelievable choreographed fight scenes.
Yeah.
It is really good.
I'm going to have to check it out.
Dude, I watched the first hour and I was pissed that I couldn't just watch all 10, 12 episodes. I'm like, I got to wait a week? This is bullshit.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that. I had no idea, honestly.
I didn't either, honestly. I saw a trailer. I thought, this is cool. I'll check out the first episode. And I watched it and I was just mesmerized. It's so good. Warrior. It is currently on Cinemax. Only the first episode's aired. I would definitely recommend checking out. It is definitely the best show I've ever seen on Cinemax. It is a good show. It is a really good show. There's sex and violence and all kinds of shit. They definitely don't hold back. It is a hard R show, but it's really good. I'm really looking forward to seeing where the rest of the show goes. So
Cinemax, not just soft porn anymore.
Yeah, not just soft porn anymore. They got actual legit stuff. So. There you go. Check it out. All right. Well, that is the show. Thank you, everybody for joining us. We didn't have any new subscribers this week that weren't private, so nobody to give any shout-outs. But keep those subscriptions coming. Keep telling your friends and let them know if they subscribe. We will give them a shout-out. But before we get out of here, Ryan, would you like to tell everyone where they can find us?
You can find us on YouTube at the Geek Dad Report and Twitter at the Geek Dad Report. Brian is Brian West 53, and I am Big Bruiser. We're also on Facebook at the Geek Dad Report and on iTunes. So make sure you subscribe, like, smiley face, heart thing, retweet, and share, and do everything you can to help us grow as a show. Because we are here to entertain you. We are not here for Brian and I just to look at each other and gaze into each other's eyes.
Well, we're kind of there for that.
And, you know, all that other stuff.
And check out all our other content. We got tons of other stuff. We got a killer Game of Thrones prediction show that we put up this week.
Brian's been cutting the Faithful Fisty and just making it like a quickie little episode. If that's just if you want to, instead of having to fast forward on this episode, you could just watch those ones.
If you just like to hear your question answered, well, you can check that out. So, but we've got tons of stuff on there. Check it out. Let us know what you guys think. Leave a comment. We're always down to interact and talk with everybody. So,
we get notifications on everything. So
we do, and we always try to respond.
So, yes.
So, I think that's the show. So, everyone, thank you for joining us for another episode. And until next week, stay awesome.
And stay nerdy, everybody.
And Ryan's going to stuff his face with more Oreos.
No, my heart still hurts.